to do it.
Okay, Hakim, welcome to the sofa.
Thank you. Thank you
It's
very
lovely to have you here, and absolute pleasure to listen to that talk. We've been chatting a bit through the conference, and I've heard little bits of what you're up to, but this blew my mind of like everything.
I'm glad to hear it.
So I think there's a lot of fans, if they weren't already, out there now. This is for the live stream, so hello live streamers.
Hello.
Some people might not have caught the talk, might just be checking in for this, or might be watching the talk back. So if there's any big spoilers, leave them for the talk.
Okay.
I'm sure there are some young coders out there, maybe even young designers as well, that are thinking, I better do some coding because that's what I'm meant to do now.
I hope so.
That are starting to get into JavaScript, into coding. Are the decisions that you made in your pathway that you look back and you say, I'm really happy that I made that decision because it meant that I did this thing that I might not have previously thought about?
I'm not a very strategical person, I think.
No.
It just, things happen. I wouldn't say I believe in fate either, but just things just happen kind of one after another on top of each other.
Yeah.
And I think I've been fortunate to be fairly early in the whole HTML5 bandwagon, kind of when that was really rolling out. Everybody was excited about it. I was early on making some demos. People enjoyed them.
Yeah.
And when you see that recognition and you feel like people are enjoying your work, you get inspired to do more of it. And then it kind of kept rolling from there, I feel like.
And what was the first point when you decided to put that work out there and kind of try and say, hey, look, everybody, I made something?
That's a very good question.
Because that's a
I'm
hard
actually
decision
trying
to make.
Think back now. Well, it's not so hard to put something out there. It's hard for anybody to even see it when you're starting, because it's such a busy field. I mean, it's hard to stand out. There's thankfully many good platforms appearing now where you can kind of get your voice across a little bit more. CodePen is a really good example. You can go in there as an unknown developer, but you can get featured for the quality of your work, which is great. But that didn't exist back then. So again, some luck. Some people that I admired and followed saw my work and they enjoyed it, and then they shared with their fans. And I was really humbled by that. Not something you could predict, but really great when it happens.
Yeah, and nice to feel the feedback as well. It's really that loop that it's like, oh, I should do something. And you obviously have a passion for doing what you do. It's not like you just work on that feedback like, oh, I need more.
No, you're right, but I still think everybody needs some level of feedback. If you don't have, if I were to create work in a void, I'm not sure, I mean, I can't honestly say if I would be as happy.
No.
I need to know that somebody's appreciating it, and somehow that gets me more interested in making more of the stuff. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Now you're a big open source advocate by doing. From your perspective, is there something, and if it is, that's threatening? Kind of what is the biggest threat that we have to open source at the moment?
So I can speak for only my personal experience, but I don't think there's a major threat overarching the whole open source industry or anything. I do think it's very hard as an individual maintainer to actually keep up with open source work. It starts out, and this is something that I've been thinking about very much lately, it starts out as something that you're very passionate about doing. So I started with Reveal.js. I was really excited about it. It was fun. People enjoyed it. I enjoyed working on it. I longed for sitting down and adding new features. But then as an open source project goes more and more popular, it becomes less and less fun to work on. And there should be like a graph for this. But
job.
It becomes a job instead, because now whenever I sit down and I want to work on it, it's not for my own motivations anymore. It's not because I want to sit down and build this one feature that I'm thinking of. Whenever I sit down, it's only to maintain issue reports and review pull requests, and that takes a lot of time. And I want to make sure that I give people the respect they deserve, because they put time into submitting a pull request, and that becomes it becomes a negative loop, really. Yeah,
I mean, quite a lot of responsibility and kind of pressure to keep doing that.
Yes. So the only real solution, I feel like, is to...
Small spider.
Oh, yeah. We got a guest.
Go away. You're not welcome on this side. You can have him if you like.
Oh, thank you. I think he's coming by free
he's
choice.
sitting in the middle. All right.
Now you lost me. No, I think there is a good solution to this problem, and that's to get good contributors, people that you trust. But it's hard to do that too. I mean, you're opinionated, you're a developer, you care about your code, you want to maintain it that exact way. He doesn't want to come to me.
No.
Okay.
It's going to sneak up when you're not watching.
Yeah.
As somebody that's working in a very visual space and on, often I guess people interacting on the browsers, if we take the idea that Google is evil as a as an entity. And we look at kind of what other alternatives there are, and I know that it's very easy to develop kind of on one platform or on one kind of browser, and kind of think, oh, my job's done and I have to fix it for other stuff. What responsibilities are there out there at the moment for people working with any development, but especially with JavaScript, to really broaden those alternatives?
I think that's happening naturally because everybody has become a self-starter recently.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way it is. So new tools are born. Better tools are born for specific tasks. The only risk is they all get consumed into one bigger organization. Now, I don't believe that Google is evil. I use all of their services myself. I'm not like hiding behind firewalls and being overly cautious about it. Maybe I should be. I don't know. But I do think that that's how we're going to keep improving on products. I just really hope that some of them are able to stand on their own 2 feet for long enough to become a big organization on their own instead of just dissipating
just
into
getting swallowed.
a bigger organization. Yes.
Yeah. With this fast pace of change, things constantly kind of emerging and us trying to gather new skills, are there things that you were learning 5 years ago, or what were you learning 5 years ago that felt really important then, that you look at now, or maybe in a year or 2 years' time, it's like, it's redundant?
That's a very good question. I mean, I studied some animation when we look back further in this, and that's kind of core understanding of animation where I can apply that to any different language or output that I might produce. But I think that's the best way to learn something. If you learn how to do something like that, you don't have to worry about the medium that you're using to express it. So there's nothing particular from that time. I think the field was very different then. For a JavaScript developer 5 years ago, you can it was at a time where, or maybe a little bit further back, but you could know almost all the important frameworks that were out there. Now it's so diverse that you can't do that anymore. And I think it's better to just accept that fact and like pick one and stick to it, or of course reevaluate, but don't try to think that you're going to learn every framework. It's just impossible.
Just go with one, see how it gets on, and reassess.
And specialize into things as well. JavaScript can do so much more now than it has been able to do before. So it's not like you learn all of JavaScript. You learn your area that you enjoy, and it's a language. It's a language to express something. It's not, at least not for me, it's not something I want to learn in itself. It's something that I want to learn so I can express something.
A tool.
If there's a better tool for it later, great. I'll use that instead. Right now, JavaScript is awesome and I love it.
That's good. That's a good thing to say at a JavaScript conference. Yes. Which brings me maybe to the last question. You now have the magic wand that you can change anything about JavaScript that you like.
Ooh, tough.
What would it be?
Really tough question. Like I was saying before, actually I should reference the talk for those if you haven't seen it, but I don't really care that much about JavaScript as a language in itself. Like I can't get excited about language features so much. Even some of these talks, Crockford before, great. And I could tell everybody was really excited, but I can't get on that in the same way. I feel like maybe it's because I'm more interested in visuals and animation, but
which is incredibly important for the language to have as well. Absolutely. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you for your words. Live streamers, you can have a break now before the next talk, and you can also have a break.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
From us and the spider, which is gone actually.
I actually probably have him with me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start a colony.